Hey, True. Huge supporter since last year. Thanks to you, Tech, and the gentleman that made the Spirit Molecule machine, I've been able to take my first trips. Rest in peace to that gentleman. I'm going to go on over several trips today. Before I begin, there are some things that I want to address to hopefully remind myself later. I definitely see, you said Ferris wheels, but they're more like machine gears or clogs in a watch to me. Definitely have seen those. I see a lot of thin metal being repeated as far as what things are made of in that realm. And I always wear Bluetooth earbuds of different brands and qualities, all decent quality, but every time I'm traveling, astral projecting, they short out, like as if I've traveled several dozen feet away from my phone, but my phone is right there by my side. Also, I wanted to mention that I hear the sound of suction like I'm at the dentist when I'm on the trips, but it's not so much in my mouth as it is in the back of my brain on occasion. Not every trip is like that, but sometimes, more often than not, I do hear the suction. Alright, so I want to go over my first trip with you. My first trip, I want to start off by stating that I'm really into music. Most of my trips, you will hear me speak about the music I was listening to. It's helped. It was part of the suggestion that Tech provided. First trip, definitely saw gears, I saw rainbows, a lot of triangles with the eye inside, like the pyramid with the eye, and I found that weird that I would see that there. I also felt like I was laying in like a cosmic gurney. So I'm laying there and being pushed around, it felt like, and at the same time, I'm being looked at and observed by like these huge cosmic beings, like larger than life type of giant spirits, but not friendly, just curious of what I'm doing there or welcoming back a lot of them. But there are a lot of entities, kind of like happy children, happy childlike entities everywhere. Towards the end of the trip, most of the younger feeling entities stayed behind, and I felt like in that trip, they showed me all this beautiful, beautiful things, stuff that I had never seen, and I played them music that they had never heard. And this song was Switch, I Call Your Name. But again, there were definitely fractal rainbow patterns with triangles with eyes on my first trip, and also saw the gears. But it was a very happy experience. Next one, not so much. My second trip, I thought that, okay, this is kind of like a club, and I can't wait to go back. So I was like, let me pick my song, take a shower, brush my teeth, get fresh like I'm going to a club. And I chose the quote-unquote intro/theme music of Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison, followed up with Fire and Desire. So I really couldn't wait to go back for my second trip after having such a great first trip. I feel like I made friends in a club. There was lasers and stuff. It kind of felt like Michael Jackson's Moonwalker video. All these mysterious figures dancing to the music that I played previously. Then I thought I'd come back to this club, but just like that Moonwalker video when the kids came back in, it was just this really dark and barren and sullen areas. A bunch of blackness and, I wouldn't say death, but I came in listening to Return of the Mac, thinking I would enter like DMX and Nas on Belly, but it was, again, more like when the kids went back in to the club on Moonwalker. So yeah, there was no cool laser show, or it just wasn't as cool as the first time. And wasn't scary, but just slightly off-putting. And Return of the Mac wasn't the extended version, it was the short version. And so the next thing that came on was Fire and Desire. Now at that point, I briefly recalled hearing other people talk about seeing dead people in their reports. So Fire and Desire being by Rick James and Tina Marie, I freaked out for a split second. I was like, oh wow, what if I see Rick James and Tina Marie? Terrifying, I don't see any dead people. And like this red ghost figure, it kind of looks like the red genie from Aladdin. I think that, like when the genie turned evil, almost. Got in my face for that split second, and then I looked away and kept looking away, and then he was no longer there. Fire and Desire comes to an end, and it was just an interesting trip at that point, but that's when it got crazy. I saw the lady. Rick James has a line where he says, just put your arms around me and hold me like you used to. And for some reason, it made sense. I felt this warm sensation of my entire body being cradled by a huge hand that felt like the ultimate love. And I knew it was the lady, but the lady, it was like Tina Marie was telling the lady what to do, or they were just working together. But it was like this beautiful, I don't know if synchronicity is the word, but just synchronization of the music and the experience. Very cool though. That was my second trip. Started off rough but ended well. Third trip, I played Chris Brown's Ain't No Way, and this was around Halloween. And what happened with that was, as soon as the song started, there was like this guy who walked in front of what I could see, my peripheral, whatever you call it, my third eye. And you know, like there's hamsters in the Kia videos. This is more like a humanoid with a pig face, like a leather pig face. I don't know, but dude could dance. Like the song came on and he started dancing, but everything in the background just started flipping and morphing and twisting, and like it's like a kaleidoscope of time, like from beginning of time to the end of time. Like the Childish Gambino movie, This Is America, but on a cosmic level. I saw the Big Bang, I saw storms, I saw plants grow and die, and comets, and I don't know if I could say aliens, but just I saw like all the time. But at the same time, he was trying to distract me. So every time like something crazy would happen in the background, it's like, oh, look at this, and look at this, and look at this, and he would do a backflip and a spin, and just every chance he got, he just wanted to distract me from what's going on in the background. And honestly, he was a better dancer than both Chris Brown and Michael Jackson combined, but it was just distracting from what's going on in the background. So, but fun. Like, I don't know, I can't explain it, but like. Also, side note, this is just before Halloween, and Halloween night I actually saw a guy with a pig mask with a chainsaw just hanging out, like just trying to scare kids from the house. But like, I wanted to hug him. So I just saw you a few nights ago. Great dancer. But I know it's two separate entities, but it's what happened. Whatever. Fourth trip. While there, Switch I Call Your Name was the song. I met both a male and a female entity. I want to say the lady thought that I was cute, but in a childlike way. Like, she was just like, oh, like, he's so cute and doesn't understand where he's at or what he's doing. And the guy didn't really think I belonged there or deserved their acknowledgement, but she kind of, like, welcomed me in and, like, wouldn't say got on her knees to get down to my level, but, like, acknowledged me. And the childlike person that I was at this point, I picked up a rose to hand to her, and I extended my arm, and I looked at her, and behind her I could see the guy glaring at me. And so I looked back at the rose instead of her, and I just kept staring at the rose, and it just kept flipping and morphing and flipping like it was made out of metal, like the rose from District 9 at the end of District 9, but it just kept morphing like a transformer from a Michael Bay movie. That little thing was like a tiny robot or something that did that, the Beat speaker. But at this point the music had changed to Isley Brothers' Voyage to Atlantis. And I looked from the rose to them, they were gone. And then I looked back at the rose and that was gone. But I remember the words singing was, I'll always come back to you. And I don't know if those words are saying I'll always come back to that space of love, or I'll always return to whatever experience this is. But it's like a mantra. I'll always come back to you. My fifth trip was outside. There were trees that became like colossal with faces and arms reached out. I was at nighttime when it happened, so I remember them before and after and during. Those trees definitely changed while I was on this trip. I also feel like I saw the Oracle from the Matrix, only because the young lady that was there was actually smoking, had a very similar smile, but it was just like definitely reminiscent of the Oracle from the Matrix scene, like the smile, the cigarette, the moment, the eye being opened. It just made sense. Sixth Sense. Not Sixth Sense. Sixth trip. I was in a room, kept my eyes open, and everything in the room became far more majestic and bigger and greater and cleaner and fancier and futuristic. And I kind of understood holidays for the first time, like Thanksgiving. This is around Thanksgiving time, and shortly after the passing of my grandmother. But I just understood being thankful more than I ever had. I was happy. I felt so much love and joy in the entire world. And that was probably like 7 or 8 minutes into the trip, and I could move again. I felt like it was a microdose, and I had to get somewhere, so I hopped in my car, and a podcast came on. It was Joe Rogan with Jake the Snake just talking, and he was talking about how he had been molested as a kid. His grandfather is also his father, and he talked about how he had daughters. And what got to me and made me break down was when he said that his youngest daughter didn't sit on his lap till he was 22, and he goes to these Comic Cons, and there's kids that are going through stuff that he can't do anything to help them, and just it kills him. But same way I felt all the love in the world, I felt all his pain, even though he wasn't conveying it as painful. He had already dealt with it and processed it, but it hit me just as much. But there was a beautiful balance to it. Like, there were tears of sadness and joy at the same time. It was something I probably needed to do again with my grandmother passing around the time. I felt a lot towards the tail end of that trip. My 7th trip, I will say, this is shortly after that. I was in the market of buying a new car. This trip, there were several kids in like these, cause I was in their spaceship almost, and they're asking me to. They're saying, give us your memories. Only you can save our future, please. It will really help us if you could just give us your memories. We really need them. Can you do it now? When can you give them to us? And the key to the future is all in your memories. And they were showing me more than they were telling me that, but I still feel like I was being told that. And it's very much reminiscent of the fact that I was, again, buying a car, or attempting to buy a car, and they were like, oh, you're going to take this deal? You're going to take this deal? They were kind of like just forcing this deal on me, and I eventually said no. And when it happened in the DMT realm, I declined to help them as well, thinking that like maybe it's a scam, just like I felt like how that car salesman was probably trying to scam me. Lo and behold, that same night, 'cause it turned out to be a premonition, that same night, the water heater broke where I had like my laptops and external hard drives. And they all got soaking wet, and all those memories for 14 years, music, videos, pictures, mixtapes, stuff that I can't really replace, gone. And I, thanks to DMT, like kind of shrugged it off. Like, it happened, but like I just could not beat myself up over it. 8th trip, it was like Groundhog's Day. I guess ironically, those same kids, or a kid actually specifically, kept coming to me for help on how to live and make decisions through his life. And then he'd live a life or a day, I don't know how long it was, but I'd go with him. We repeated over and over, and just I'd say maybe 10 or 12 times. It was like Groundhog's Day of helping a kid. Not in a bad way, it just is what it is. 9th trip, I remember staring at a ceiling. Kept my eyes open for this trip. Again, it was Switch, I Call Your Name. There was one of those popcorn on the ceiling. Like, if you ever look at a ceiling and you see like all that, if you can scrape it off, that's what I'm considering a popcorn ceiling. When I did the DMT, there was like waves of rainbows going through that white popcorn ceiling. Just beautiful waves of rainbows. And then the rainbow waves became explosions of colors and rainbows. And then it was like the Big Bang, like explosion, that kind of explosion. And it showed me like the birth of the universe and the birth of roses at the same time. Like, those universes became roses somehow, like just peeling out into roses, as they also showed the Big Bang or planets being formed. It was somewhere between roses and planets. Like, I saw roses, but I also saw the Big Bang. So I don't know if you zoom in to the planet and see them, but alright, we're just about done here. 10th trip, not sure how it happened. I think I did like 2.5 puffs or 3 puffs, but somehow I broke through And once I was there, I was like, I feel like they don't see me. Like I was invisible. I snuck past two entities, and then they like chased me around as I astral projected through this house, if you want to call it that. But I caught them slipping. Like if they were security guards trying to keep me out, they were not paying attention at that moment. And I got in, and I was very much of a jovial kid type of vibe. Let's see here. I may have mentioned this before, but again, I see more machine gears than I do see Ferris wheels, like clogs and a watch. I see the same metal that I saw in the roses. I feel like everything there is made out of that. And looking at something, you're looking at so many dimensions, front, back, side to side, like up and down. Like there's a lyric in the song, it's like I wouldn't even know up from down. And that hits hard when you're in that zone. There's also a lyric that says, I do, you do, birds and bees do too. I guess like saying we're one with nature. It's a hard song to explain, but check it out if you haven't heard it. Switch, I Call Your Name. Again, Bluetooth earbuds always short as I travel away from my phone. And I do hear the sound of suction at the back of my head often while the trip's going on. Most recently, I saw R. Kelly and Chris Brown go into a wood chipper. There was no blood. It was like virtual reality or something. Like there was a show that used to come on Cartoon Network with like a green guy with like black dreadlocks, like that type of virtual reality. I don't know what that show was called, but it was on Cartoon Network. And green skin, black, almost dreadlock hair maybe. But I feel like that was just saying that's the death of my toxic ego. Because I did go in there listening to the Chris Brown song that I tripped to before. But it was after I listened to a podcast by Joe Budden of them just writing off R. Kelly. Lastly, I have done a couple car trips, and in there my car gets super duper clean inside and looks super duper futuristic and shiny and black, and just I don't recognize the inside. The outside world stays the same, but I feel like I can look at it and see rainbows on all the stuff that's in the car. And it's almost like you can influence your immediate environment, but not the outside environment. 'Cause I could look outside and like trees were the same, people were the same, like, but inside of my car, I was definitely just on some futuristic stuff for the whole trip, and I was astonished. So I get the death by astonishment. I get the ego death, so to speak. I have broken through. I have microdosed. I definitely give a big shout out to True Life Stories, Gordo Tech, and Vegan Thuggin', rest in peace, for all the information and guidance they've provided, directly or indirectly. They say more is caught than what is taught, and learn a lot from you fellas. In essence, these have been my 11 trips. I'll take a look and make sure I didn't miss anything. I once had a trip where like I definitely feel like I'm on another planet whenever I'm there, because I look out and there is like a sun almost like, and also like there should be trucks. I don't know how to explain it, like 18-wheel trucks or something. But anyways, I had a trip where like in the middle of it I had a panic and I'd be caught, or I'd be in trouble, I don't know, caught, like, and I feel like there was a lady entity that was actually touching my brain at that point, like just observing or whatever you want to say. But when it happened, she like freaked out. It's like looked at me and kind of like told me that that's not good for you and it's not good for the universe, not good for your world or our world. Like the two worlds are definitely connected, and there's a connection happening when you do that. Also, there's a Gateway article by the CIA. You can edit this out if you want, but I kind of understand, like, weed is not the gateway drug. This is the gateway. If you research the Gateway document from the CIA, you realize what it does to the left and right sides of the brain, and just, it's crazy information out there. So that's also on my list. Just brings up higher thinking. Yeah. I can try and do a better video for you if this didn't work out, but if you need anything, just let me know and I'll get back to you. Alright, signing off. Tapping out.